Good morning, fifth grade. Today is Thursday, May 21st, and we'll be doing math class together. To be prepared for this video, you'll need to have scratch paper and a writing utensil, and you'll also need to have Thursday's lesson open on another tab on your computer screen. I'll show you how to find it. If you're in the fifth grade distance learning folder, you'll click on week 10. Then you'll click on math class, and you'll click on Thursday's lesson. Go ahead and gather your materials and come back to this video when you're ready to go. So for today's problem solving task, you're going to go ahead and answer numbers 1, 2, and 3, and then come back to the video for the discussion. Answer the entire problem solving task, number 1, 2, and 3, and then come back to this video. To begin, number 1 asked us which operations have the same power or the same strength. We learned that addition and subtraction have the same power as each other, and division and multiplication have the same power as each other. Which set of operations did we learn was more powerful, addition and subtraction or division and multiplication? We learned that division and multiplication are more powerful than addition and subtraction. So the two operations, addition and subtraction, are equal to each other. They have the same power. And division and multiplication are equal to each other. They also have the same power. If operations have the same power, we solve from left to right, like the way we read. Using that idea, we needed to simplify this expression. Taking a look at this expression, I noticed that the expression only had addition and subtraction, and it did not have any parentheses. So how should we solve? Because there is only addition and subtraction and no parentheses, we solve from left to right, and we solve one step at a time. So the first step I did was 6 plus 10, and that gets me 16. And then I rewrote everything else in the expression because I hadn't solved it yet. Then I did 16 minus 4, and that got me 12. And again, I rewrote the rest of the expression because I haven't solved it yet. The next step was 12 plus 9 to get me 21. And I rewrote the rest of the expression because we have not solved it yet. Next, 21 plus 18, that's 39, and I will rewrite minus 17. And last, 39 minus 17 for my final answer to be 22. Notice that as I'm solving this, I'm only doing one step at a time because I cannot solve all of these subtraction and addition problems in one step. It will be impossible to do that in my head all in one, and it will get me the incorrect answer because I will probably make a silly mistake. So I do one step at a time until I get to my final answer. When I'm doing one step at a time, I make sure to rewrite my expression exactly the way it has been given to me. Because if I make a mistake in rewriting it, then it'll change my answer. Number 3. How is the expression below different from the one in question 2? Do you get the same answer? Well, this expression is different because it has parentheses. So the parentheses show priority and they tell us what we have to do first. While in number 2, there were no parentheses, so we just solved from left to right. So here in this expression, what do you think we would have to solve first? Because there are 2 sets of parentheses, we would solve the one that is closest to the left first, and then solve the next one. So our first step here would have to be 4 plus 9. Let's take a look at my work. First, I did 4 plus 9 and it got me 13, and I filled that in. Everything else, I rewrote exactly the same because I hadn't solved it yet. Next, I'm going to solve my second set of parentheses of 18 minus 17. And that got me 1. And then I rewrote the rest of the expression because I haven't solved it yet. Next, I only have addition and subtraction now with no more parentheses. So now I can solve from left to right. 6 plus 10 is 16. And I'll rewrite the rest of the expression. Then 16 minus 13 is 3. And I rewrite the rest of the expression. And my final answer, 3 plus 1 equals 4. Notice that we do not get the same answer as we did for number 2, showing us just how important parentheses are and how important it is to follow the rules for solving very carefully. Because if you ignore the parentheses and don't solve them first, you'll get the incorrect answer. So even though the two expressions had the same digits, because one had parentheses and one didn't, we ended up with very different answers. So remember, as you're solving, if you have parentheses, you always do the parentheses first. And then you follow the other rules of multiplication and division, have a higher power. But if there is no multiplication and division, and just addition and subtraction, then you solve from left to right. Let's take some notes on what we learned today. Today, we learned that if an expression has no parentheses and only addition and subtraction, then we solve from left to right because they have the same strength/importance. We also learned that it's important you solve one step at a time. You should rewrite every operation and term that you haven't completed each time you start a new line. So like I did as I was solving, I made sure to rewrite the rest of my expression whenever I solved a step so that I didn't miss any steps and so that I did not make a mistake as I was solving. Go ahead and jot down your notes and come back to the video when you're ready to do practice problems. Now, since we are done with our notes, you're going to go ahead and try numbers 1, 2, and 3 for guided practice. Make sure that as you're solving, your work looks like mine, meaning that you're solving one step at a time and rewriting the rest of the expression for each line. We're going to go over the guided practice questions. If you haven't done them on your own, you need to pause the video and do them on your own first. Because if you just listen to the video, then you will not learn how to solve the expressions. So make sure to try it on your own and then come back to check your work. Number 1, I see that the only operations involved are addition and subtraction, and there are no parentheses. So that means I solve from left to right. So my first step will be 12 minus 6, and that got me 6. And I rewrote everything else. My next step will be 6 plus 25, and that gets me 31. Then my last step will be 31 minus 8. So my final answer will be 23. For number 2, I see the same thing. Only addition and subtraction, so we're going to solve from left to right. My first step is 8 minus 4 to get me 4, and I'll rewrite the rest of the expression. Next, 4 minus 2 to get me 2, and I'll fill in the rest of the expression. Next, 2 plus 44 to get us 46. And last, 46 plus 99 to get us a final answer of 145. For number 3, again, there's only addition and subtraction, so we'll solve from left to right. First, 22 plus 8 is 30. Next, 30 minus 18 is 12. And last, 12 minus 4, it gets us a final answer of 8. Now you're going to go ahead and try your practice packet, numbers 1 through 8, and come back to the video when you've solved them all and you are ready to check your work. For these first two problems, in the first row, you're going to go ahead and check your work against mine to make sure that you have the correct steps and that you ended up with the correct final answer. If you notice any mistakes in your work, go back and try again. That will help you to find your mistake and revise your work, and it'll help you to make less mistakes moving forward. So make sure that if you didn't get the correct answer, that's okay. Just make sure that you try again so that you can learn from your mistakes. For the next two problems, we'll go over them. In this expression, I noticed that I have addition and subtraction, but I also have parentheses. So in this case, I have to do the parentheses first. 8 plus 2 gets me 10, and everything else I rewrote exactly as it was. Now, I only have addition and subtraction left with no parentheses. So now I can solve from left to right. 11 minus 10 is 1, and I'll rewrite the rest. 1 plus 4 is 5, and 5 plus 9 and 1/4 equals 14 and 1/4 as our final answer. For number 6, I only have addition and subtraction, so that means that I can solve from left to right. My first step, 8 minus 6 is 2. Rewrite the rest. 2 plus 10 is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. And last, 4 plus 12 is 16. Next, we'll go over number 7. Today's secret code for math is JAZZ, J-A-Z-Z, J-A-Z-Z. For number 7, we have 3 sets of parentheses. So we have only addition and subtraction happening, but remember, because there's parentheses, we have to do the parentheses first. But all of our expression is within the parentheses. So since we have so many sets of parentheses and they are all equally important, we'll just start with the one on the left. 8 minus 4 is 4, and I rewrite the rest. I have to make sure that I rewrite it with the parentheses so I don't make any mistakes. Next, the next set of parentheses is 27 minus 11, which is 16. Then I rewrite the rest. Next set of parentheses is 6 minus 2, which is 4, and rewrite everything else. Now we only have addition happening with no more parentheses because we solved all of them. So we can do from left to right. 4 plus 16 is 20. And 20 plus 4 is 24. You're going to now check your work for the last 3 problems on the screen to see if you got the correct answers. If you made a mistake, make sure to revise your work to try to find your mistake and fix it. But if you're really confused, make sure to check in with your teacher on the practice problems before you start the exit ticket. So if you're confused on one of these practice problems, check in with your teacher to get a conference so that when you start the exit ticket, you'll be much more confident. After you're done checking your work, if you're feeling like you understand and you got all of these questions correct, or you revised them and found your errors, then you should go ahead and start the exit ticket.